Hello guys, welcome to this total body stretch class. So as the title suggests, it's a very stretchy based class and moving progressively deeper into postures and just sort of finding new edges as we move through the class. When it comes to flexibility based poses, having a block or two can be really helpful because we try to find comfort in the pose, support ourselves where we need to in order to allow the body to sort of soften into an otherwise quite difficult shape. So if you have them, great. If you don't worry, because there's options to modify the shape of your body slightly so you don't need them if you don't have them. So once you've got everything that you need, let yourself come to a nice comfortable cross-legged shape. Give yourself a moment to settle in, to allow your body to feel like it's arrived, closing your eyes and then letting your thoughts arrive as well. Find a softness across your face as you allow the body to just release a little here. Pull the chest a little more towards the sky to lengthen out the spine, and then roll those shoulders down and back to find an extra long neck. Feel that heaviness of the arms against the legs, and then focus on taking a nice deep breath in and slowly allowing that breath all the way out, completely emptying the lungs to the very bottom. Good. Breathe it all the way back in. Slow, strong breath all the way to the top. And again, slowly breathing it out. Not pushing or rushing, just allowing those lungs to empty. And then one more time, a deep breath in. And a slow breath out. We're going to think of using this breath as we move between and into each of the different postures. And hopefully that sort of soft rhythm and calming sensation can allow us to find comfort in each and every shape, no matter how challenged the physical body becomes. You can then softly open your eyes and take either a little roll over your knees or turn your legs around to come into child's pose. So your knees are wide, your toes together. Sit towards your heels and then walk your hands out as your forehead comes to rest to the mat. Find lots of length in the body, so those fingertips are reaching away from you, those hips are sinking down towards the heels, so the sides of the body become long. Keep those shoulder blades broadening across your upper back, as if your armpits are dropping down towards the floor. As you breathe in, feel that width within your body growing wider. And as you breathe out, feel your chest become heavier, sinking down to the mat. Take another deep breath in, keep growing long. And then as you exhale, walk both hands off the right side of the mat so that your chest, your belly come towards your right thigh. Let your chin then dangle between the arms. And if you'd like to deepen that side stretch, take that left hand and place it on top of the right. You can also give it a little pull if you like, so pull against your right hand and really breathe into that left side of the torso. Use those inhales to feel like each of the ribs is moving further away from the next. And as you exhale, feel them come closer back together as you soften and sink. Breathing in. Use the breath out. Walk yourself back to the center. With your inhale, grow long where you are. And the exhale to send all the way over to the left. Option for the right hand to hold the left. Option to give it a little pull as well if you want to take it a little bit deeper. Keep that right sit bone sinking down towards the right heel. And again, feel that width as you grow wide on the breath in. And you become soft on the breath out. Great. Let those hands walk back to the center and then all the way in until you're sat up onto the shins, and just bring the knees a little closer together So you're sat onto the tops of your feet. With a deep breath in, circle the arms wide, reach them high towards the sky. And as you exhale, right hand goes behind you, left hand comes to the out of the thighs. You're twisting to look over the right shoulder. That hand behind you can either rest to the floor, or maybe you want to hold onto your foot to give yourself a little extra pull or push into the twist. Hold your belly in, pull the core back to help the body rotate. And then staying in your twist, send that left arm to the sky, breathe in, send your gaze with it, and really pull the arm away from the torso. Last one in. And then exhale to release and come back to the center. Inhale, both arms to the sky. Exhale, that left hand goes behind you. The right hand comes across, twisting, looking over the left shoulder this time, using the arms to give yourself that little bit of extra pull and push to turn the chest as well as the gaze. With an inhale, right arm goes to the sky. Lengthen that right side. Feel like you're pulling your arm away from your rib cage. Breathing in. And then breathing out. Draw yourself back to the center. Stacking it up a little bit higher again, we're going to tuck the toes under behind us. Make sure all 10 toes become tucked. Press the weight towards the balls of the foot and find that stretch into the soles. As always, if this becomes too much, you can always release and let go. Interlace the hands in front of you, turn them to face forwards. Press those palms away as you hollow out the belly, the chest, and pull the chin down towards the chest. Releasing and interlace the hands behind you. With a deep breath in, pull the fist towards the floor, lift the chest towards the sky as you squeeze your shoulder blades together. Release and let the shoulders roll back forwards and take the same shapes once again. Interlace the hands, press the palms forwards, hollow out the front of the body as the spine presses back. And then release the hands, taking them behind you, palm to palm. Draw the fist to the floor, breathing in, broaden across the front of the body. And then exhale to release. So again, stacking ourselves a little further. We're going to use our hands. Keep the toes tucked under. Lift those knees as you walk yourself back into a Ragdoll Fold. So we're going to keep the knees bent. It means that the belly and the thighs can rest nice and close together. Once you've got those hips high, arms dangle down. If that's uncomfortable, or if you prefer, you can cross your arms. We're just allowing the whole upper body to feel nice and floppy. Maybe a couple of nods and shakes of the head to make sure that that neck is feeling loose, no tension there. And with that sandwich of the belly against the thighs, keep pressing those hips to the sky. Use the strength in the legs to lift the hips. And with that, you'll feel that extra stretch into your hamstrings. Breathing in, stay heavy. Breathing out, keep compressing. And then release your hands so that your fingertips can find the floor. Just widen your feet a little bit, wiggle them away from one another so they're underneath the hips, about 2 fist distance apart. Your right hand is going to stay on the floor right in the center. With an inhale, left arm is turning to the sky. Bend your right knee as much as you need to allow your body to turn. The chest is rotating and the gaze goes to top fingertips. And if you have perhaps slightly longer hamstrings already, you can start to work that right leg a little straighter. But remember that maybe those hamstrings are still feeling a little cold. Perhaps we're already very challenged by touching the floor. So moving into whichever shapes take you to your edge. Last breath in, and then breathing out. We'll switch the sides. Left hand goes down. Inhale, right arm to the sky. Let that left knee bend as much as you need to find that twist. Belly holds in. Option to let that left leg start to straighten, and you'll feel it in your left side body, making that twist a little bit more intense as well. Lengthen those fingertips to the sky, breathing in. And then breathing out. Let that hand come down. We'll walk the hands forwards, let the knees come down to the mat. All the way down into tabletop. And just give yourself a little rearrange if you need to, so you've got that nice square shape. Shoulders on top of wrists, hips on top of knees. Use your inhale. Dip the ribs to the mat, lift the chest, look forwards, maybe slightly upwards. Use the exhale to hollow out the front of the body, push the spine to the sky and press into the hands. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Take one more. Breathe in, push your sit bones to the sky. Feel like you're pulling the mat back towards you. Exhale, rounding the spine, broaden across your shoulder blades. Good. And then keeping your feet as they are, about hip distance apart. Keep those toes tucked. We're going to walk our way back and we're going to let the heels come down. Now for some of us, that's going to be more challenging than others. So if we can get the heels down, keep our arms reaching forwards to counterbalance. We're going to come to here. If that's not working for you and you're falling onto your bum, let your hands come behind you so you can get your heels down, because we want to work on this mobility in the ankles, this flexion of having the soles, the roof of the foot near the shin. So if you need your hand support, let yourself have it and keep pushing your weight forwards. You should feel it into your shins. So there should be sort of you should feel the effort there. And if you can, if you want to make things harder, lift your toes away from that, so really pull them up. You'll find a muscle that perhaps you weren't aware that you had, but keep lifting them, finding that strength again, either in the balance or give yourself the support. Weight is down into the heels. You can make this even harder by taking away your counterbalance and hugging your arms in. Letting the front of those shins really feel the burn now. And then seeing if you can, either with or without the hands, push yourself back forwards. Let your knees come down to the mat and find yourself back towards tabletop. So you never knew that your shins could ache so much. So your right hand is going to come to place into the centre of the mat, right underneath your nose. As you inhale, send your left arm to the sky, take the gaze with it. As you exhale, thread it underneath the armpit, but don't rest down. Just reach as far as you can, lower the shoulder, but don't touch the mat. Inhale, send it back to the sky, gaze goes with it. Exhale again, thread and reach, but hover. Inhale, last time to the sky. And then exhale, thread underneath. This time we're going to rest down. So let the shoulder and the side of the head find the floor. This left palm faces the sky and you're thinking of turning your chest out towards this hand. Your right arm can then walk its way to the top of the mat and leave it stacked onto fingertips, so you get this extra opening into the front of the right upper body. Lean your weight a little bit backwards to help your chest turn to face the hand. Think of this right armpit, lifting away from the mat. And take your breath deep down into the belly, where everything feels a little bit trickier to breathe into. Great, breathing in and breathing out. And then step that right hand back in front of your face. You're going to unravel this left arm. Reach it out towards the top of the mat as you reach your right leg back. So you've come into your extended tabletop. Reaching those left fingertips forwards, reach out through your toes. You're making yourself as long as you possibly can. Squeeze through your right glutes to help that leg find lift. Hug your belly up towards your spine to stay firm in your center. Breathing in. As you breathe out, see if your knee and elbow can tap each other under the body. If you want to make it harder, make it knee and nose. As you inhale, reach them all the way back out where they came from, and then bend the knee. Take the hand behind your back and see if you can find your big toe side of your foot. If you have a yoga strap, great, use that. Kick the foot towards the sky. Once you've got it, lift your chest, look forwards, and think of your cow pose. So the ribs drop down, the chest lifts, sit bones to the sky, and then strong through that right leg to kick and open the front of the left chest. Keep finding your strength in that top leg, in this right supporting arm. Breathe in and breathe out. Last one, kick a little higher. And then letting go of that foot, breathe out. You're going to sweep the leg off to the right hand side of your mat. Toes face forwards and the ankle is going to place down on the same plane as the knee, so that when you come up tall, you're on the same line. Keep your tailbone ever so slightly tucked under, pushing towards the front of the mat. Coming into gate pose, right hand onto the right leg. Inhale, left arm to the sky. And as you exhale, let the body lean that little bit out towards the right. Try not to compromise the side body stretch for wanting to get deeper to that right side. Roll the shoulder back, and even if it means that you're not going quite so far down, you'll still feel that lovely length in the left side of the torso if you keep those hips forwards and the chest back. Breathe into that left side, keep lengthening. Soften across the face. Great, last breath in. And then breathing out. Draw yourself back upright. Let your fingertips come onto the mat in front of you and make sure your back toes are untucked. Top of the foot onto the mat and see if you can sit your left sit bone down towards your heel. These right toes now are going to flex to the sky, so the heel pushes away and the toes pull back towards you. Either stay here if you've got it, if this is enough for you, or walk those hands away from you. Think of folding your belly closer towards your left thigh and pressing the underside of the left thigh a little closer down towards the mat. Each inhale, find you a little extra length in your spine. No matter where it is you're positioned, you're pulling your chest forwards. With the exhale, you're allowing that body weight to keep tipping forwards and keep pressing the heel away from you on that right side. Breathing in. Breathing out. Take one more. Breathe in. And with a deep breath out, press your way back up onto hands and knees and draw that right leg back in where it came from. Breathing in, drop those ribs down, lift the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Breathing out, rounding the spine, hollowing out the front of the body. Okay, draw yourself back to neutral. Left hand a little bit more central, towards underneath your nose. With your right arm, inhale, send it to the sky. Turn your chest. Exhale, reach under the armpit. Go as far as you can, as close to the mat, but don't touch down. Inhale, back to the sky. Exhale, threading underneath. Last one, breathing in. And then breathing out. Thread underneath, palm faces the sky, the shoulder and the side of the head come down to the mat. Make sure that you feel steady and comfortable, and then that left hand can walk its way out to the top of the mat, staying high up onto the fingertips as you think of leaning the weight a little bit backwards to turn the chest towards this right hand. Breathe deep to the belly. Soften as you sink. Last one. Great. Draw that left hand back in, right in front of your face so that it's going to be in the right place when you unthread. Draw that arm back underneath. Reach it to the top of the mat as the left leg reaches backwards. Extended tabletop. Press down through the right knee and the left hand. Find extra length through these lifted limbs. Keep that gaze down towards the mat and feel the heat rise in the body as you hold this shape. Breathing in. As you breathe out, knee and elbow to tap, maybe knee and nose, your choice. And then inhale, reach them back out long and then bend the back knee. Let that hand come to see if it can find the inner arch of your foot, tiger pose, and then kick that foot to the sky as you lift your chest, look forwards. Push the ribs to the mat, lift the chest, breathing in. Breathing out, keep strong through that back leg. One more, breathing in. And breathing out. Great, guys, release the leg. Swing it out to the left side. Place the foot down, toes point to the top of the mat, so that when you stack yourself up, make sure your body stays stacked on top of this right knee and not over you've not sent your foot out too far. Tuck the tailbone, left hand to the leg. Breathe in, reach your right arm first to the sky, and then exhale, find a little bit of a lean to the left. Think of length through both sides of the body, so try not to compromise this left side too much. Lift up and out of the hips. Breathe into that right side as you lengthen. Exhale to soften. Good. Use an inhale. Draw the body back upright. Core strength to rise up. Let your fingertips be here on the mat in front of you for a bit of balance. Toes are untucked. Sit that right sit bone down towards the heel, and then those left toes turn to the sky, so the heel is the thing pressing away. The knee and the toes point upwards. Either staying here or out you walk towards the top of the mat, folding the body over that right thigh and giving that left heel a push down against the floor as you think of sinking the back of the thigh down towards the mat. Great. Inhale, lengthen the chest forwards. Exhale, keep sinking. Final breath in. Use your breath out. Press your way back towards tabletop and let that left leg come back in. So coming to down dog, you might want to just step your knees a little further back from your wrists before tucking the toes. Lift the knees, lift the hips. Find that openness through the armpits. A soft bend in the knees is a nice way to be able to get stretch in the whole body. We can keep the heels pressing towards the floor to get the stretch into the calves. We can keep the hip bones lifting to the sky to keep the stretch into the hamstrings, and keep holding the belly in firm and pressing into the hands to lengthen out the spine to keep finding length in the lower back. Breathe in, keep pressing. And breathing out. Now you might be able to stay at this length down dog. If you find that you struggle, you can take a little step in with your feet, just a couple of inches. We're going to take our right hand towards our left ankle. Hold the inside of the ankle if you can. Take your gaze under the left armpit. Maybe you can see the sky, and then give yourself a pull against that ankle as you look under the arm. A big stretch across the upper right back, sort of around your shoulder blade, a little bit lower. Keep strong through that left arm as you turn your chest and turn your torso. Releasing that side and coming straight to the other. So if you struggle to reach your leg, you can always take another little step in. Make sure you can hold something. It doesn't have to be the ankle. You can go for the calf if that's what's available to you. Pull against that leg. Take the gaze under the armpit. Think of dropping the left shoulder, close towards the mat, and finding that stretch across the upper left back. Obviously still into your legs as well, seeing as we're in our down dog. Holding here, breathe in, and then breathe out. Release the hand to the top of the mat. We're going to walk the feet in, all the way to the top of the mat, keeping your hands down as long as you possibly can. Feet to come together when you get there. Belly and thighs are connected, so you're back into sort of that ragdoll shape. Let your body compress towards your legs as your hips stay high in the sky. Take your hands to your shins just below your kneecaps. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, forward fold, hands find the mat. Soft bend in the knees, dangle the head. Use your inhale. Rise your way to stand. Take your arms up above your head, shoulders away from the ears, but pull tall. And then exhale. Release your hands by your sides. Find your mountain pose. A softness across the face. A softness into the arms, turn the palms slightly forwards. A deep breath in and a slow breath out. And then breathing in. Send the arms back to the sky, the tailbone stays tucking under. Exhale, forward fold. Let the fingertips find the floor, so bend your knees as much as necessary to do that. Inhale, halfway lift. Chest draws out long, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, hands to the mat. Right foot steps to the back. Drop the knee down, keep the toes tucked under. Breathing in, lift the chest, the arms go overhead. Take hold of your own elbows as you send the arms as far behind your ears as you can. Squeeze your right glutes and press into the ball of the back foot. Exhale, release. Hands to the mat, foot steps back into down dog, hips go high. We're moving a little quicker now. Inhale, right leg reaches tall. Exhale, draw that foot to the top of the mat and drop the back knee to the mat. With the inhale, same arms, lift the chest, take the hands to hold the elbows or as close to the elbows as you can if you can't quite reach. And then exhale, hands down to the floor. Back foot steps in, meets the front foot. Inhale, halfway rise, tabletop shape through the spine. Exhale to fold, belly compresses to thighs. Inhale, all the way up to stand. Arms go to the sky, gazing up. Exhale, refold. Hands to the floor, push your pelvis tall. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down. Make sure your right foot stays at the top of the mat between the hands. Left foot, big stride back and drop to the knee. As you inhale, lift the chest, take those elbows and squeeze your left glute strong through that back left leg. Releasing the hands, step the foot back, send the hips to the sky and into your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg reaches tall, three-legged dog. Exhale, stepping it forwards to the top of the mat and drop the back knee down. Help it there if it doesn't do it by itself. Breathing in, lengthen the front line of the body, find your elbows, drive your hips low. Exhale, hands to the floor. Back foot steps in, meets the front foot. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to stand. Lengthen through the fingertips. Building from there as we exhale, fold yourself back to the mat. Inhale, find that forward length, thighs press back. Exhale, hands to the floor, right foot to the back of the mat and drop down onto the knee. With your inhale, rise back to your low lunge. Find those elbows. We're going to pause just a little bit longer this time. Squeeze through your right glutes. Think of your hips dropping forwards and down as your chest lifts up and back. Lift your chin away from your chest. Each inhale, you're pulling the ribs up and away from the hips. Each exhale, keep those hips nice and heavy. Last breath in. And then breathing out, hands to come down to the mat. This might be where you want to use some blocks if perhaps hamstring length is not your forte. Keep those back toes tucked under, lift the back knee, keep the belly and the front thigh connected, don't let them come apart from one another. Shift your hips back as you pull your toes off of the mat. So it's a long pyramid. If you have a block, you can let your hands come to the block if the floor is feeling too far away. You can obviously keep that knee bent as much as you need to if you don't have blocks, so that you have some balance here. The important parts we want to think of are the toes pulling away from the mat, the back heel pressing down, and if your leg is straight, squeeze your kneecap up towards your hips so that you can engage through your quad. Use a breath in to keep pulling your chest forwards. Think of a tabletop spine. Using your exhale to keep making the belly and the thighs come that little bit closer together. One more breath in. Final breath out. Great. You can bring those blocks with you. We're going to walk our hands to the right side of the mat and all the toes point to face the same direction now. Have your toes angled ever so slightly inwards so the outer edge of your foot matches the outer edges of your mat. Fingertips either to your block or to the floor. You can keep a little bend in your knees if you need to. Inhale, lengthen your chest forwards. Think of that tabletop shaped spine. If you can see your own reflection, you can see when you've got it, pull your chest forwards. And then as you exhale, see if you can fold a little deeper. Maybe you can take your block down from wherever you are to the next level. Or perhaps if you're already to the floor, your hands can walk a little further back to be in line with your feet. We're keeping the outer edges of the feet pressing down so that the inner arches feel like they're lifting. If the legs are straight, we're squeezing those kneecaps up towards the hips to turn the quads on. That will help our hamstrings lengthen. Each inhale, try and find extra length in your spine. The rib cage lengthens away from the hips. The exhales give you the opportunity either to deepen or just to allow your body to soften and to become a little bit more okay in whatever shape it's in. Take your final deep breath in. On the exhale, walk yourself back to where you came from at the top of the mat. Step the front foot back, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Push those thighs to the back of the room, really lengthen through those hamstrings. With your right leg, as you inhale, lift it to the sky. Think of it as a left hamstring stretch. Strong right leg, heavy left heel, pull that top leg to the sky. On the exhale, step that foot forwards. This time we're going to the outside of the right hand, so it's going quite wide. Just make sure it's still on your mat. You don't want to go super wide off to one side. Drop your back knee to the floor and make sure that your hands and your whole torso are on the inside of this front thigh. Root down into the big toe side of the foot. Keep the front knee nice and close to the body. You can stay here for your lizard lunge. If you have that block, you can bring that in and let your forearms come down to it. If you are without, you might be able to get the left elbow down. If you're lucky, you might be able to get the right elbow down as well. But try to go to a point where you can still be okay. You can still breathe. That's your best indicator. If you've got yourself into a position where your body is stuttering for breath and holding your breath, it's a bit of an indication you've gone a little bit too far. So always you can back out, you can go to the hands, you can go up a level on your block. A couple more breaths here. Keep pressing down into this front foot, driving your body forwards. Great. Draw yourself back up onto the hands if you lowered down. Your left hand is going to step a little wider towards the left edge of your mat, and your front foot you're going to angle out at about 1 or 2 o'clock. First option, make sure your back toes are untucked. First option is to turn your chest towards this front knee. Use your right hand to push the knee away from you as you sink the left hip down, and you can stay here thinking of lifting the big toe side of your foot. Or you can send that right arm all the way up and over to find the back foot. Give it a pull in towards your bum, and it doesn't take much for your quad to feel that one. As you pull the heel in towards your bum, and if you can't find the foot and you don't have a strap and it's all feeling a little bit too much, leave it and stick with just your front leg. Alternatively, if this is easy breezy, there's the option to drop your elbow to the floor to deepen that quad stretch. Wherever it is that you've chosen to work at, keep pressing down through this little toe edge of your front foot and turning your chest towards that right side. Breathing in and then breathing out to release the foot if you have it. Turn all toes to face back forwards, wiggle the front foot back to the center of the mat, and then the back foot steps in to meet the front foot. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, rise up to stand, tailbone stays tucked nice and tall, and then let's even it out on the second side. Exhale, folding to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, hands go down, left foot to the back of the mat, toes stay tucked under, knee drops to the floor. Use that inhale, lift the torso away from the thigh. Come to find your own elbows or as much of your forearms as you can. Lift the chin from the chest, squeeze the left glutes and drive those hips forwards. Pick your rib cage up away from the pelvis, lengthen the front line of the body. Breathing in, breathing out. Last inhale. And as you exhale, let those hands come back to the mat. Coming to our long pyramid, option to grab your blocks again. Lift your back knee, belly and thigh stay connected. Lift the toes as you push your hips back. Your hands can walk with you. And again, you can keep a bend in the knee. If none of this works for you at all, keep your back knee down. That back heel presses towards the floor. The chest pulls forwards towards the front of the mat. Try to square your pelvis off a little because chances are it's not square. Your right sit bone needs to push to the back of the mat and your left sit bone needs to pull a little to the front. So imagine you're sort of squeezing your thighs together. Hopefully you just felt the difference in that, in your little self-adjustment. Lengthen one more time, breathing in. Softening as you breathe out. Great option to bring the blocks with you. This time we go towards the left. Turn the toes in the same direction. Let the edges of your feet match the edges of your mat. fingertips to the floor or to the block. Inhale, just like your halfway lift, chest pulls forwards. Exhale as you fold, find a little bit more depth. The weight is a little bit forwards towards the toes, pressing those toes down to maintain your balance. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Couple more. Allow your body to feel heavy in front of the legs. Don't be concerned with how close to the floor you are. Be concerned with how you can feel that stretch in the whole body of your hamstring. Final inhale. Lengthen the chest. Soften on your exhale. And then walk yourself back to the top of the mat. And then step that foot back, downward facing dog. Open out through those armpits, broaden across through the shoulder blades. Left leg, inhale to the sky. Reach through the toes. Right heel is heavy to the mat. Think of lengthening that right hamstring. Exhale. Place this left foot at the top of the mat wider on the outside of the left hand as we move towards lizard. Your back knee can rest down and you can untuck the back toes. And firstly, we keep the big toe pressing down into the mat. We keep the left knee close in towards the shoulder. The time to let it flop out is on its way. Be strict with yourself. The chest is lengthening forwards, and there's the option to lower down to your block, or maybe your right elbow can lower down. Your left elbow will be the more challenging. Keep pressing the front foot down into the floor and keep dropping your hips and your torso in a nice flat line down towards the mat. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. And then step yourself back up onto the hands. The right hand is going to stay nice and wide. The front left foot turns out about 10 o'clock-ish. Let that knee push away from the body, roll onto the little toe edge of the front foot. Option, stay with this and don't need to move any further. Otherwise, left arm up and over, holding onto that back foot, giving it a nice pull in to find that stretch. And also maybe thinking of a little press of that back thigh down against the floor, just to give a little extra juice to that quad stretch. As before, if you dropped the elbow on the other side, you're very welcome to drop again here. Broaden across your chest, breathe in. Keep your gaze tall, breathe out. One more, breathing in. And then softly release, breathing out. Let your hands come back to the top of the mat. Wiggle your front foot back towards center and then back foot steps in to meet that front foot. Inhale to halfway rise and exhale to forward fold. Use your inhale to rise all the way up to stand, nice and tall through the torso. And as you exhale, release, arms alongside your body. So from roughly the top of the mat, just make sure you have a bit of space in front of you. Keep your hips facing forwards. Widen your feet to be about as wide as your hips. And again, that's 2 fists distance if you were to be touching the floor. Your right foot is going to step back. Not a super long way, about 1 meter-ish. Obviously, it depends on the length of your legs as to what is perfect for you, but perfection does not exist. Keep those hips squared forwards, so think of your right hip forwards and your left hip back. 2 options. Either take the hands behind the back and hold onto your own forearms. Maybe you can go as far as to hold your own elbows like we did above the head. If you want to, you can try your reverse prayer, and I'll just turn around to show you. If you're trying reverse prayer, let your fingertips come to find each other behind you. Turn your fingertips to face the sky, and then little by little, as you reach the fingertips up, a little bit more of your palms can come to find each other. To let those palms come together, think of the elbows pushing behind you as you broaden across the front of your shoulders. It's a lot of rotation in the shoulder, so if that's not working for you and it's feeling too much, go back to holding on to your elbows. Moving into pyramid pose. Use your inhale, lift your chest, think of lengthening the front of the body. As you exhale, the chest is going to go forwards. Keep that left sit bone pushing backwards, the right sit bone pulling a little forwards. Keep those shoulder blades pinned together. The arms go behind the back as the gaze comes towards the front toe. Keep rooting down through both feet, trying to keep a little bit of weight in both legs. Your inhales, keep pulling the chest forwards. Create space within your body. Your exhale, so keep allowing your body to fold, thinking of compressing your belly towards your front thigh. Breathing in. And then as you breathe out, undo your arms, whichever way you had them, and just let your fingertips come to the floor. You can take a soft bend into the front knee to release into the hamstring for a moment. We're going to walk the hands forwards. So you're coming into a little bit like a halfway lift. Chest lengthens in front of you, stay onto your fingertips or to your block, and then lift that right leg out behind you. Really strong through your toes. You can keep a little bend in the standing leg, it doesn't need to be straight. And then first option, right arm, reach it back alongside the leg and hold here. Keep the pelvis facing the floor. Don't allow your pelvis to turn to face the right side. Second option would be to bend that knee, let your hand hold the big toe side of the foot, so the shoulder is open, and then kick that foot to the sky. But same applies, do not let that hip roll open. It's a big old hamstring stretch. If you have the foot, keep kicking it to the sky as you fold your body over this front leg. Otherwise, keep reaching through those toes, reaching through those fingertips without your bind. Deep breath in. It's a big old stretch, guys. Stay with it. And then exhale. If you have the bind, release it. We're going to step that leg all the way to the back of the mat. Let the toes turn out to face the right side, and then we're going to sink. We can walk our hands back, sink our pelvis towards this back foot. So we're crouching at the back of the mat now. The heel can rest down if that's available to you, otherwise stay onto the ball of your foot. This leg that's extended, left leg, keep the toes towards the sky, the knee towards the sky, and if you need to, you can let your left hand come behind you to help you maintain your balance. Trying to get a nice big stretch into this inner left thigh. You can use your right arm to keep that right knee pushing away from you. A nice deep breath in. A slow breath out. Good, guys. There's a series of big old stretches. So breathing in and breathing out. Good. Now we're going to come to rise to stand towards the top of the mat. So a little bit of strength work for us. Press into this back foot, bend into the front knee, aim the front knee on top of the front ankle. So it's a little bit like warrior two legs. Reach your arms wide, turn the palms to face the sky, and then exhale, back hand to your back leg as your front fingertips go to the sky to your reverse warrior. Lengthening this left side of the torso, breathing in. Breathing out, maybe sink a little deeper. Last one. As you exhale, the top arm comes to rest onto the front, the forearm to the front thigh as the right arm goes to the sky. Option is for the hand to come to the block or to the floor next to your big toe instead. The wider your feet are apart, the more intense this stretch will be. So you can always widen your feet if you'd like to advance it, or narrow them if it's all a little bit too much. Use this left arm, push the left knee away from you. Turn the chest to the sky, breathing in. God, that left leg's doing its work, isn't it? And then breathe out. Let your hand come to the floor. Turn your toes to face forwards and drop your back knee to the floor. Whew, right, so we are very stretched out onto this left side into the hamstring. So your first option is to stay in lizard, where we've been before, where the torso is on the inside of the thigh, we're on the hands, maybe on the elbows. Or you can start to move towards extended lizard, which is the picture that I've used on the front of this class for my little thumbnail. So two ways to move into it. Usually I'm going to show you the easier way. I don't know why I'd show you the harder way. Tuck your back toes under and just let your back knee step away from you. The whole time we're going to keep our front foot grounded against the mat. You're going to start feeling it more into your left hamstring. Again, you can always have the blocks with you to walk back. And if you feel that you've got more to give, again, let your back leg wriggle a little bit away from you, tuck the toes, step the knee back. Make sure we're rooting down into the big toe side of that front foot. And again, you can walk your hands back. You can do an upright version if you have blocks. If you don't have the blocks, keep it like it was lizard with the hands on the inside of the thigh. It's now up to you how many times you want to wiggle that back knee back. I can't tell you how far to go, but I'm sure your body will tell you. When you feel that point of a stretch where the breath starts to feel challenged to stay smooth, that's usually your indication that you're at a good place to pause. See if you can find a little bit of softness in the body here, a bit of calm. Whenever we start to stretch deep, the body starts to panic. So maybe just close your eyes. Maybe just allow everything to feel a bit softer. We're nearly there. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, if you've moved into this extended lizard, I want you to come out of it the way you came in. So little shuffles at a time for your back knee to walk in. Your hands can walk forwards until you're in that sort of unchallenged hamstring space. Wiggle the foot back to the center of the mat. You can step that back foot in to come to meet the other. Use your inhale to halfway lift, and maybe your legs feel different lengths. And your exhale to forward fold. On the inhale, rise up to stand. Make yourself tall. And exhale to release your arms by your sides. Good, so maybe our left hamstring does not quite feel like our own. Let's get that right one to come to match it. So feet hip distance apart, we're coming to pyramid first. Left foot steps back, relative distance, roughly 1 meter, maybe a little bit longer. Make sure the headlights of your hips point forwards. Same options with the arms to hold either the wrists, the forearms, the elbows, or you can work on that reverse prayer shape again. Squeezing hold of this front right quad. Inhale, chest to the sky, lengthen the front of the body. Exhale, think of going forwards, not down. Chest is going forwards, right sit bone pushes back, left sit bone pulls forwards. Gaze down towards your mat so that your neck stays a nice long extension of your spine. Inhale, pull the ribs away from the hips. Exhale, either soften or deepen. Keep squeezing hold of that quad on the front leg. Again to inhale. To exhale. Last one. Great. Release your hands. Let them come to the floor. So bend the knee if you need to help you release. We're going to walk those hands forwards in front of the foot, a little bit like that halfway lift. You're trying to find a tabletop shaped spine. That left leg is going to reach out behind you and reach it as high as you can. Squeeze through those left glutes. First option, left arm reaches alongside the thigh, everything in the same line. Second option, it's called sugar cane, is we bend that knee. The hand finds the big toe side of the foot. Don't take the other side. The foot then kicks up to the sky, not out to either side. The pelvis stays facing the floor and you can fold your body a little deeper over the front leg. Same as before, if you need a block underneath the right hand, you won't be the only one. A big old stretch for that right hamstring. Stay strong. Nearly lost it myself there. Stay strong in that top left leg. Breathing in. And then release it. You're going to step that foot to the very, very back of the mat. Turn the toes to face the left side, so the foot is in line with the back of the mat. And then walk your hands back as we come to squat down deep towards that left heel. Keeping the heel down if it's available to you, keeping it up if it's not, or you can choose to use your hands behind you to help you hold that deep squat like we did at the beginning. And then finding that push out through your heel. You can even point your toes if you're looking for an even deeper stretch. Use this left elbow, drive the left thigh wider, and think of staying nice and heavy down through your hips. Good, couple more. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Great, so moving strong legs, we're going to press into the back foot, drive the weight forwards, lunge into that front knee. Knee goes on top of ankle, or roughly thereabouts. The feet are still on that same line, and then palms go to the sky as the arms reach wide. Breathing in, right arm goes to the sky, back hand rests gently onto the leg, and keep lunging that knee forwards. Pull the arm to the sky, lengthen that right side, and keep that tailbone lightly tucked so that our core is strong. Take yourself a nice deep breath in. And then as you exhale, either rest your forearm to the thigh or take the hand next to the big toe onto a block or onto the floor. Left arm to the sky, gaze goes with it. Use the right arm to push that knee a little bit wider, open into the hip. Your final inhale. And on the exhale, the hands come to the mat. Turn the toes to face forwards and drop your knee down. So, coming back to our lizard options. The torso is now on the inside of this right leg and your back toes are tucked under on the left leg. Option to stay here. You don't have to go into the extended version. Otherwise, have your blocks with you if they were helpful on the other side. You can step that back knee away from you and your torso can walk with you. And before you take the next step, just make sure you're settled into the first version. Make sure you're breathing, make sure you feel okay before you can then step the toe back and maybe you can go a little further. Press down through the big toe side of the foot, keep the knee drawing in towards the body and either keeping the torso leaning forwards onto the hands, more like a traditional lizard, or if you have those blocks, you can come upright. Maybe if you have a little bit of a deeper range of flexibility, your hands can reach the floor to support you here. The same as before, your choice to step that knee back as many times as you're comfortable. If splits are in your practice and you'd rather do a split, then go for it. Keep those hips pointing forwards so your right hip pushes a little backwards and your left hip pushes a little forwards. Relaxing the face. Staying calm. This is where the hard work comes in. Last breath in. And then breathing out. Make sure you've got support into the hands. Little wiggles at a time. Bring that back knee in towards you until you feel able, this time, to release your front leg towards the back of the mat, towards tabletop. Widen your knees to be about as wide as your mat. Coming into child's pose, toes together, bums to heels. Walk the hands away and let your forehead rest to the mat. Give yourself a moment just to settle. A well-deserved little moment of rest. We are nearly there, guys. Fill the back body as you breathe in. Sinking the chest as you breathe out. Again to breathe in. And to breathe out. And then walking your hands just a little distance in until you can push your way up onto your knees and then bring your knees a little more narrow so that underneath your hips back to tabletop. Those hips are going to stay here on top of the knees and then we're walking the hands out into puppy pose. So those hips stay high in the sky. Walk the hands forwards until the forehead can rest to the floor. Try to keep it just being the forehead that rests down, so there's the elbows and the forearms stay lifted, and you can make that more intense by stacking up onto the fingertips. As before, think of growing wider into your rib cage as you breathe in, finding heaviness through the front of the chest as you breathe out. Again, breathe in. And breathe out. Good. Walk those hands back in, all the way in towards the knees. Spin those legs around and find yourself onto your bum. Make sure you have some space behind you, knees to be bent, feet hip distance apart. Reach those arms forwards to help counterbalance you. Chin to your chest, tucked tailbone, and as slow as you can, unroll the body all the way down onto your back. Your knees can then hug in towards your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze, a little hug, a well-deserved little hug. And then roll those knees off to the right-hand side of the mat. The left arm reaches out in the opposite direction. The palm faces the sky, and the gaze can follow that hand. Let your eyes close. Let your breath shallow. And just feel everything start to slow here. You can then roll those legs back to center, sending them off to the other side. Legs go left, arm goes to the right. Gaze follows the hand, and then you can close your eyes once more and allow your body to settle here. And then rolling back onto your back, nice and softly. Release your legs out onto the floor. Release your legs, your arms, alongside your body. Keeping those eyes nicely shut, encouraging the face to let go. Finding that softness in the hands as the fingers naturally curl in towards the palms. Finding that softness in the legs as the feet naturally fall away from each other. Watching that soft rise and fall of your belly as the only movement left as you breathe. And then taking a deep breath in to reawaken. Find some movements, maybe a nice big stretch up above the head, pointing through the toes. And then curling the knees in towards the body. Give yourself a little hug, a little squeeze. And then softly up to a seated position, finding that tall lift through your spine. With your final breath in, circle the arms wide into the sky. And with your final breath out, hands lower to the belly as the chin lowers down to the chest. Namaste, guys. Well done. And I hope you guys enjoyed that one as much as I enjoyed teaching that. And that's very much my style of practice, the way that I like to stretch and move myself. So I hope it didn't feel too torturous for you. That's the sort of poses and length of holds that will really help you with your flexibility. So stick with it if flexibility is your goal. Thank you for joining me. I hope you can join for another one soon, maybe this time next week. If you feel able to make a donation for the class, the link to my PayPal is in the description, and I super appreciate any support that you can have for me. Hope you have a lovely rest of your week or rest of your day, whenever it is.